Hi everyone, welcome back to a new post today. Today let's discuss the most important topics that you need to keep track for October 11th with regard to the UPSC upcoming preliminary examination to 2025. The very first issue that you need to keep track is about President Draupadi Murmu going to Africa. So a three-nation visit to Algeria, Mauritania and Malawi. Please look at the map, it's important. Apart from that, the visit just comes after a year when India hosted the G20 presidency last year, and during which African Union got a permanent membership of the G20. Now the African Union is a continental union consisting of 55 member states of all the African nations. The union was announced in 1999 under the Sirte Declaration, calling for establishment of an African Union. The bloc was launched in 2002 in Durban, South Africa. The intention of the AU is to replace the older Organization for African Unity that was established in 1963 in Addis Ababa by only 32 countries. The AU Secretariat is located in Addis Ababa, and the largest city is Lagos, Nigeria, where the largest urban agglomeration is Cairo, Egypt. The next most important is about October 13 being celebrated as Disaster Resilient Day. The International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction, celebrated annually on October 13. The day recognizes the efforts of the peoples, communities around the world to reduce their exposure to natural disasters and also to raise awareness about the importance of disaster risk reduction. The theme for the International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction is empowering the next generation for a resilient future. The day focuses on youth and how to reduce the disaster risk for school-age children. This includes ensuring schools are disaster resilient, party and also early warning systems, providing age-appropriate education to help children understand and act on disaster risk. 2023 takes place shortly after the midterm review of the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, which is from 2015 to 2020. The next most important is about Sendai Framework itself. It is a global agreement between the United Nations member states to prevent and also reduce reduce, prevent and respond to the disaster risk. It was adopted in 2025 at the World Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction in Sendai, Japan, and endorsed by the United Nations General Assembly in 2015. This framework aims to strengthen social economic resilience to disasters, reduce the disaster risk and loss to lives, livelihood, health, economic, physical, social, cultural, environmental losses, share the responsibility of reducing disaster risk between the states, local government, private sector, and other stakeholders. And recently the Arctic Council was in this news with regard to Arctic policy of India. India is cooperating with Russia, which is the member with the largest continental shelf in the Arctic Ocean. The 6 pillars of India's Arctic policy is science and research, climate and environment protection, economic and human development, transportation and connectivity, governance, international cooperation, national capacity building. Let me tell you that the National Center for Polar and Ocean Research under the Ministry of Earth Sciences is the nodal agency for India's polar research program, which includes Arctic studies as well. And the Ministry of External Affairs provides the external interface to the Arctic Council, and several other ministries and institutes are involved in the Arctic activities from India. India became an observer nation to the Arctic Council in 2013 and has been actively participating in the senior Arctic councils and contributing to the working groups as well. We have an Indian Arctic station called as Himadri, presently manned by for 180 days a year, and since its establishment we have almost 300 Indian researchers who have worked on this station. Let me tell you, however, India's cooperation with regard to Arctic started very early in 1920 when we signed the Svalbard Treaty in Paris. The first scientific expedition to Arctic was in 2007. We have the research base Himadri at the Arctic at Svalbard, and we also have deployed the IND-ARC, which is a multi-sensory observatory in the Arctic region. So these are some of the most important areas where India has been collaborating. India is collaborating with Russia, especially on the Arctic region. And the Arctic Council has 8 members: Canada, Kingdom of Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Norway, Russia, Sweden, and USA. And Arctic is home to 4 million inhabitants. 1/10 of them are indigenous people. Also, the Arctic Ocean is a landmass of immense interest, not only from the glacial or the polar region point of view, but also it has trapped natural gas reserves, and many of the countries in the Arctic Ocean are now seeking to use this natural gas to replace petroleum usage of fossil fuels. So these are some of the important points that there is other climatic dimension also to the Arctic region, but these are the important points that I wanted to discuss with you with regard to October 11th. If you did feel it's really helpful, please do like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to comment at the end of the video. I shall see you in my next post. Until then, it's very happy learning.